Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Apple Box Chronicles. My name is Peyton Buto,
And I'm Adryon Thomas.
and today on the ABCs, we are taking you from A to Z on Spike Lee's Bamboozled. This is part of our Out of the Closet Criterion Collection review series, where we review movies from the Criterion Collection that we blind bought. And this was a blind buy for both of us. As you can see, we have two copies of it. We both own one because he bought it before we met, and I bought it because I was recommended to it by you.
Yeah.
So yeah, why are we talking about this movie now?
Um, I just felt like it was a good time to talk about it. I mean, Spike Lee has his newest movie, Highs to Lowest, out. We already did an episode on that, but it just felt like the right time. Also, Criterion has another Spike Lee movie coming out as we record this. It'll be out in December for his concert movie American Utopia with David Byrne, and it felt like a nice little a movie to kind of put out there, since we both kind of went in blind watching this movie. And I mean, to talk about another Spike Lee movie like Do the Right Thing or Malcolm X, which already is on Criterion as well, I feel like a lot of people already have put their opinions on those movies out there already.
And I mean, they've been discussed deservedly. So It's just that this one is a little bit overlooked.
Yeah.
And it's also, I mean, if you're looking at the cover, if you're watching this, it's very provocative. It's very out there. Like it's seen as a very angry film. It's a very thorny, like, satire movie.
Yeah. And just like not really knowing anything about it, if you just look at the cover, you're like, "Ooh, there's gonna be some touchy subject matter in here."
I mean, in fact, that was like the reason. I think I was over at your place at the time, and I saw it, and you were like, "Oh yeah, that's a Spike Lee movie." I had never heard of it. I had never heard of this Spike Lee movie, and then I looked at the cover and I was like, "That's crazy!" Like,
Yeah.
I feel like this is one that people would talk about.
Yeah.
But the fact that they're not, kind of, I think, is the point of the movie in a way.
Yeah.
It actually supports what the movie's going for in a strange way. So I was interested to see it, and I saw it at the store, and we actually showed this movie to some unsuspecting
Yeah,
people
I
as well.
had some of my coworkers come over because they really wanted to watch a movie with us, and I was like, and they were like, "Oh, let's just watch some crazy movie that's like I would never watch before." And we were thinking of other movies, but then knowing that we were gonna do this episode, I was like, I could just show them Bamboozled.
Yeah, we had to watch it anyway. We were
Yeah.
giving it a rewatch for
And
this.
they didn't know anything about it, and I showed them the cover, and they're like, "Whoa,
Yeah,
whoa, let's see what this is about." And they told me they loved it a lot, but they were like, "Yeah, I've never seen a movie like that. That was crazy."
yeah. Especially just aesthetically, it's also very different. It's shot on video.
Yeah.
And obviously it's Spike Lee, so the form is going to be experimental and kind of arrhythmic as well in very fun ways that, like, if you're not if you're just a casual movie watcher and you go into a Spike Lee movie, you're definitely going to see some technical techniques rather that are very different
Yeah.
from what you're used to. And for me, when I was buying this movie at Barnes and Noble during a Criterion sale, I remember texting you because you had shown me the movie and I wanted to see it, and I was not worried about, like, I wanted to buy the movie. I was like, I really want to check this out, but I was texting you because I was like, I don't know. I think, like, just based on the cover alone, if I ring this up with a person, right, and I go up and I'm like, I would like to purchase this, they're gonna be like, what is this? Because if you're not in line with, like, what's Criterion, what's Spike, who is Spike Lee, like, what the movie actually is, and you just look at the cover, and I'm buying that shit. It kind of looks like I'm buying some really old problematic, like, film that
Yeah,
they
some
wouldn't
racist
sell
stuff,
at Barnes
yeah.
and Noble, really, in reality. But I remember texting him. I was like, this, I'm kind of nervous about buying this, and then you were like, it would be more racist to not buy it.
Yeah, at that point.
And
it's
I was like,
yeah.
you're right. I mean, I was gonna buy it either way, but it did feel like, I'm a guy that if I know they're ringing up the stuff, I put like the barcode there because that's what they have to get at to ring it up. And this one person on this one day happens to flip over every individual movie I bought and look at the cover, and I'm like, see, you could have avoided, because when they got to this one, they like kind of looked at me for a second, and I was like, you could have avoided that awkwardness if you had just scanned the fucking thing. But no, I'm excited to talk about it. It's this is a great movie. Let's get into it if you want.
Yeah.
If you're ready. I'm gonna read the plot synopsis just for the sake of consistency, and also because I feel this movie is overlooked. I don't think a lot of people, or enough people, have seen it.
Yeah.
So let's see.
And
here.
we are gonna talk a little bit of spoilers. So if you haven't seen it, you can still watch this, but like, it's some touchy subject.
Yeah,
matter.
we're gonna get into it for sure, because I mean, to dance around this movie would be a disservice to it as well. All right, so the tagline is a spectacular film by Mr. Spike Lee, and it says, frustrated when network brass reject his sitcom idea, producer Pierre Delacroix pitches the worst idea he can think of in an attempt to get fired. A 21st century minstrel show. The network not only airs it, but it becomes a smash hit. So, I always thought, well, I saw this movie, I think like 2 years ago, or maybe a year and a half, and I recall, no, it was 2 years ago, because I went and watched Oppenheimer in the theater right after buying it. I remember that. Anyway, I recall watching American Fiction later that year, and if you haven't seen American Fiction, it's really good. I know you haven't even watched that movie, but
I know I need to.
It's a great movie with Jeffrey Wright, where it's based on a book, and he plays a character that writes a novel that's extremely, it kind of plays into like a lot of black stereotypes, and like the way he,
like a Quan Mills type book.
Yeah, sort of the way he writes it, and he's doing it as a joke, and he submits it as a joke, and he's kind of like drunk when he's writing it, and then they love it, of course, and then he kind of takes it farther and farther, and it's that sort of, it's much softer than this movie, and I think there's a lot of other moving parts as well. You know, it's more of a character study on him and his family too, and then there's a character study element to the protagonist in Bamboozled too we'll get into, but yeah, it's a lot less, I guess you could say, angry in nature to what it's getting at. But I think this is a perfect double feature, because you're watching both of these protagonists go through this kind of similar thing where they're like, I'm trying to prove a point, and then the point gets proven in the worst way possible, and it
just backfires.
Very popular, and it backfires, and then they kind of have to be like, okay, well, this is what I've always wanted, but not the way I've wanted it, and now I have to, grapple with accepting this fame and fortune for something that robs me of my dignity, or whatever. So and I think that's what these movies are getting at too.
Yeah, it's everything that kind of works goes against the artistic integrity of a lot of people that want to put their work out there.
Yeah. And
studios will usually just take all the good stuff and throw it out and make it all glossy and good for all for the populace out there, and it kind of ruins the initial thing that you were trying to do. And even in this case, where they're trying to make bad stuff just to kind of prove a point, it backfires, because all the bad stuff that they want is popular, and you could see that in a lot of media today, where you'll get pretty rough stuff out there, and you kind of wonder, like, who allowed this to happen?
Yeah. I mean, not to this degree, and not in such a I guess a glaringly obvious way, but it's still... Yeah,
this is more racial, where I think nowadays it's more about just creativity versus, the money aspect, where you'll get a lot of these really big movies that nobody really wants, but...
And there's also a lot of, like, capitalistic propaganda and shit. I mean, look at fucking War of the Worlds, the recent one, completely bastardizes that original story and turns it into like an Amazon ad. It's awful.
But with this movie, it's more about the racial aspect and the fact that we use the black culture and the trendiness of it to popularize media, even though in essence the people that are making this are very racist and
and
they're not even shy about it.
Right. The representation on screen, or on, I guess, on stage in this case too, because they're doing it live, is not matched in any way by the people actually running things behind the scenes are often not the people that should be.
But even, well, let's just talk about our initial reactions when we first watched
for
this.
Sure.
You can go first, since that it's just kind of funny thinking about, like, you just kind of hyping it up, being like, oh, this is a...
Well, I mean, it was just more about, like, I guess, I think a lot of people would look, like, on face value, if they don't know anything about the movie itself or who made it or what it's trying to get at, they're just going to, like, look at the cover and be like, what the fuck is this? I mean, I think that's just what's going to happen. No, for me, I love this movie. I think, like I said, I do just love the look of it being shot on video. Just on a technical level, I think it's really interesting. And, you know, all the moving parts are introduced very well. It actually takes a big chunk of the runtime before the show actually starts and things kick into gear. And once that happens, there's not a lot of I guess I would say it's not very repetitive, and it's also it doesn't desensitize you or make you feel okay with it ever. It's not a I guess you should never feel okay. If you felt okay with it, there's something wrong with you. But I just mean, like, the movie always is showing how the problem is getting worse and worse and growing, and the stakes are getting higher, and, like, everything is, I guess, the movie's just constantly in motion. It's constantly introducing new facets of the issue it's trying to tackle, and so it never gets boring, or, like, you're never, like, you know, with some satire you could be like, I get it. Like, okay, I get it. You're beating me over the head with the point. But this movie has to beat you over the head with the point. Because, I mean, I just think the fact that the movie's rather divisive, it always was going to be, is... it's like the point. There are people that wouldn't want to engage with this movie. Because of what it's dealing with, and like we were talking about before, I'm sure there's people that would watch this and immediately feel a need to, like, defend themselves, and I think that's what Spike Lee's trying to get at as well.
If you watch this and you feel like you need to defend yourself, I think the problem is you, not the movie.
Like.
But, well, yeah, when I first watched it, it was so different than what I expected it to be, because I think when I first saw it, this was before I did the whole Spike Lee journey where I watched all of his films. I think I had only seen, like, a handful of his stuff, and this was so very different than any of the stuff that I've seen him do before. And it was kind of off-putting at first, even with the digital look of the movie. I was like, wow, this is very different than what I expected. But I in the end, I was like, this is actually very, very ballsy, and it's so unconventional, because it does end on, like, such a dark ending, and it goes in places I didn't expect it to even get close to, like at basically the climax of the movie. And it was just very different. It was very different than what I thought it was going to be, because I didn't think they would go so full force into the whole menstrual aspect of it. I thought that maybe that was just, like, a little part of the movie that...
No, that's the whole thing.
Like the whole thing. And I was like, oh, wow, they're really going for it with this film. And I think it's very brave of Spike Lee to do that. And it also makes sense that this movie was very controversial when it came out, because I think even now it's got like a 54 on Rotten, and obviously it's like it's a very polarizing film for a lot of people, because it's calling out a lot of people, and I don't think a lot of people like to be called out on certain things.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of makes sense, like how the reception of this movie was when it came out, but also that's the point. Like, the movie's supposed to be audacious and like savagely like biting in its satire, that you're supposed to leave the movie going like, man, that's awful. We got to change the way that we look at our media and how we tackle the subject matter of racial identity within, all TV, movies, music, all of it. And because there's constantly racism in everything, and it's consistently hypocritical of media to follow the trends of black culture without really giving it its flowers and really like celebrating it. Instead, it's like, oh, this is what they do, which is like really cool, and now we should do it too. And it, in a way, it almost takes the coolness away as well, and you're just bastardizing everything that comes out of the black culture to make it popular. And it's covered with the shadow of racism on everything. So I think it's a really good movie.
Yeah.
I think Spike Lee's saying a lot in this movie that a lot of people don't want to say or acknowledge.
Yeah, I mean, even in the critics' consensus on Rotten Tomatoes, you will see it has about a 50%. Right down the fucking middle, of course. Yep. And you'll see it says something about the satire being too heavy-handed. And it's like, what do you mean? Like, this is... that's a requirement of the movie. Like, that's like the point.
And there's this whole thing about Spike Lee being like the angriest black man in Hollywood, and I think it's in a way kind of ironic, because this film, though it is angry in its message with all of his movies,
it's very passionate.
Yeah, it's very passionate, but it's also really funny. Like, come on.
Yeah, he's like, not without a sense of humor about this stuff.
Yeah, whether it's playing along with the racism or calling out the racism or everything in between, the movie's really funny.
But it also acknowledges the danger of putting yourself as a spectacle for humor.
Yeah, it's definitely calling out its own hypocrisies of showcasing that this could technically work. Like, being having an extremely racist show can technically work if you under the, I guess, the right circumstances.
Yeah, and the fact that black people in the movie are taking part in it.
Yeah,
it's this kind of feeling that a lot of the white people in the movie feel like they have permission now to be racist.
Exactly. And I think that's also the interesting thing about the main character, Pierre Delacroix, played by Damon Wayans, who
I mean, it's like not his name in the movie. Like, that's it's like almost like a stage name. It's like what he goes by, but there's also people call him other stuff. His dad calls him something else.
When you first meet him, he has like this very odd accent, and he has a very French name.
He has just a certain way of speaking, like he's trying to really present himself in a certain way.
But based on his background that you find out later in the movie, his name's like Peerless something, and he grew up with a normal like black family, and he's just putting on this persona to kind of be more tranquil around like white people, and kind of be more passing and not as aggressively black as I think a lot of people want him to be. But I think that's also kind of a smaller microcosm of what the show is as well. It's like he's trying to appease white people, and by constantly doing that, he completely loses his integrity. And whereas in the beginning of the show, he had a little bit more integrity. In the
I
fact
mean,
that,
it's almost a loss of humanity as well.
yeah,
And I mean, there is the way that he plays along with the TV executive that he works under, who is literally like comically racist in the movie.
yeah, it's it's played by Michael Rappaport, which he's quite the controversial figure today, and even back then. But he plays the part kind of perfectly. Like, he almost is playing himself in a certain sense.
It's really unsettling. Like, he's got all these pictures of like black athletes and shit in his office. He says a line that's it's so fucking funny in the movie when he says, "I don't give a shit what that prick Spike Lee says. Tarantino was right." Because there's this huge. I mean, that's something like that's another thing Spike Lee does a lot. Like, he's just not afraid to like just put that in the movie.
Yeah.
And I just can't, like, when you're looking at this film and you're gonna be like, oh, it's too heavy-handed, like it's over the top. You're beating me over the head with your message. Like, I get it. Okay, well, if you get it, but it's still happening.
Yeah.
It's still happening. It's still relevant.
Yeah.
So yeah, you could say you get it all you want, but
You're not
why would you care?
yeah.
Why, if you get it and you acknowledge that it's real, then why do you care that someone's calling it out?
Yeah.
Because it has to be called out until it's not happening, until or even to remind us why it can't happen all the time. Like the movie, that's why art is important. It's timeless. You go back to it, and it's a constant reminder of what's wrong with the world, and and in some cases what's good about the world. But not this movie. This movie's about what's wrong.
I mean, it's like Eddington. A lot of people's problems with that movie is that it's showcasing the problem and not the solution. And I think the problem with that idea is that not everything has a concrete solution to fix these problems. The fact that we're showcasing the problem is so that people are aware and so that we can continue to try to find a solution. And that's what this movie does. It showcases that there is a problem. We don't have the solution because it's consistently a problem.
Part of the problem is
acknowledge the problem.
Yeah, part of a problem is the lack of awareness and acknowledgement for the problem. And there's a lot of people who are willfully ignorant to the issues that movies like this are capturing, and that's why they don't like them, because they'll make the excuse that it's heavy-handed, or that I get it, or that it's offensive in some way, even though like some people say this is offensive and they don't even have a right to be offended by it, like but there is like I feel like that it's the same thing when people say, maybe not the same thing, but it's similar to when people say it's not that deep when a movie has a strong political messaging to it, or socio-political messaging to it. Like, they say that because they do not want to confront something uncomfortable that the movie is clearly illustrating and clearly showing, and they want to be able to like or dislike the movie and feel a certain way about it without the attachment or consequences of acknowledging what the movie's actually going for, and like actually saying about the real world. They just want to be like, no, the movie's not that deep, so I'm able to feel this certain way about it without any weight on me, any implications on me whatsoever. So because they can't actually validate their argument without confronting that uncomfortable thing that the movie is trying to illuminate. So that's why I think movies like this are important to have. Because it's impossible to do that with this movie. That's why it's so out there. Like, that's why it's so thorny. It's impossible. You can't look at this movie and say that.
And like I was saying earlier, you kind of see how even the black characters in the movie submit to that like willingness to just do racist things just so they could become more popular. Like at the beginning of the movie, Pierre Delacroix, he wanted to make the show so that he could get fired. He was trying to make a bad show by saying, "Oh, we'll make the most racist minstrel show that we could possibly do." And then it becomes extremely popular because they're so okay with it. They're so okay with the fact that, oh, they're being racist, and they're fine with it. They're allowing it to happen, and so if they're fine with it, then we could be fine with it. And after a while, even Pierre is okay with the show being successful because it's successful.
Yeah, and there's all this merchandise and all
Yeah.
this extremely like racist dolls and toys and piggy banks and shit. It's crazy. I will say the performances in this movie are great.
Yeah.
Like Damon Wayans, really good. Jada Pinkett Smith is really good in the movie. I forget the name of the guy that plays Man Ray. But he has a lot to do in this movie. Like,
yeah, the what do you call it? The dancer,
tap dancer.
tap dancer.
Yeah, the two performers in the show are fantastic in the film as well.
Yeah. Because I think the tap dancing, he's like a legitimate like professional dancer.
Yeah.
Who's really good. And what they could have done is like utilize that aspect of himself and kind of highlight the fact that he could do that and be expressive in that way. Instead, they mask it with the racism of a minstrel show and saying like, oh, we could just have him tap dance and look all cool with all these other dancers, choreography and all that, but to the tone of, racist symbolism, instead of taking that dance form and making something else out of it. Instead, they're reverting back to a time when people didn't take that stuff seriously and didn't appreciate it for what it could really bring to other people and what it could bring to the dancers as well. It's just a bastardization of the form, and I that's just that happens throughout the movie. It's just things just becoming worse upon itself because of the additional racism that's forced onto it.
Yeah, their actual talent is unrecognized until it has that put on there as well.
Yeah.
Because it's like, otherwise how does that benefit me, right? Like, that's kind of what a lot of the characters are thinking.
Yeah. But I think this movie is, it just, I think the fact that it also works in this exaggerated kind of universe where they have these like companies that don't exist. Like, I think it's the one's called like the bomb alcohol or soda or whatever.
Yeah.
They put like these fake commercials in the show, in the movie for the show, that are really funny, really racist, like incredibly racist and exaggerated. But because it's obvious like satire and it's trying to showcase like, this is what you guys look like when you do these commercials where you're highlighting black culture for a white product. It comes off very racist and stupid, and I think Spike Lee's trying to say we can see past the facade of you guys trying to, like Tommy Hilfiger, trying to fit in with the black scene, because at the time a lot of people liked wearing Tommy Hilfiger clothing, but it was just them trying to capitalize on the black culture of the time. And I think Spike Lee's just kind of acknowledging the fact that it's like, we see what you guys are doing. We see that you guys are taking our stuff and making it your own and capitalizing on kind of like our ghetto-ness, I guess, and our urbanness, when they shouldn't be doing that. Like don't do that. But I think we should also just go into the Criterion itself, like the packaging and everything.
Yeah.
And everything that comes in it.
So this is something we like to do on these episodes. There is a commentary on here. Because we showed our friends the movie, we didn't watch the commentary because it was our first time. I kind of do wish we had seen the commentary before this, because that, I feel like, would have given us a lot of great insight on the movie. Yeah. We will probably eventually listen to that. There's a documentary making of the movie also very interesting stuff.
A lot
I would
of
like to see the shot on video behind the scenes.
Yeah, there's a lot of great interviews on there. There's a conversation with Spike Lee and interviews with some of the cast and crew.
There was one thing you mentioned from one of the interviews.
Yeah,
that was...
like there was one of the actors in this, the guy that doesn't play Man Ray, the other guy,
the other performer in the movie. I hate that we don't know his name. It's like on here, but I don't know which one he is because there's two guys. It's either actually.
We're so sorry to this actor.
Yeah, here I can pull it up.
But basically, when they put on real blackface in this movie, and when I say real,
Tommy
blackface,
Davidson is the name of the guy.
Okay,
and then Savion Glover is the other.
Yeah, I was mixing up the two. I was like, I don't know which one.
Yeah, I just didn't want to be wrong.
But in the movie, they showcase how they did actual blackface. Back in the day when they did blackface, this is to burn cork and to kind of mix it together with some alcohol and to just paint it on your face.
You have to put like an oil on your face.
Well, yeah, because it burns when you put. Obviously, it's gonna burn if you put that shit on your face. So you have to like kind of cover your face with coconut butter or whatever you need to kind of buffer the burn. But when the actor was like putting the makeup on, the blackface on, they started breaking down. They were crying because...
And I think, is that in the movie?
It's in the movie. And he wasn't told to cry or anything like that, but he just did because... I don't think it's just because it hurt to put on because it would burn, but because he could see himself like regressing. Like he's going back to a time where he wasn't seen as a person. He was seen as this thing to be looked at and made fun of and entertaining other people, and it was degrading, and it was like this is what people had to go through just to make it in the industry for black people. They had to completely degrade themselves.
Yeah,
and
even to do that for a satirical purpose, like still had that effect.
And I also in this movie, I think it gives some. It showcases that you don't have to appease to everybody in the world to be funny and to be relatable, because in the movie the main character Peerless, I guess is his real name, he visits his dad, who's a stand-up comic who doesn't have an accent, who's a normal dude but who does stand-up comedy, and he's doing these routines about being a black individual, and they're really funny, they're really good. I liked a lot of the stuff that he was saying, and you could see that it's relatable and people are laughing, and it's calling out racism and understanding racism in a way that isn't completely degrading and isn't talking down on people, and instead it's being relatable and being like, this is what happens.
But you also see he's not like super famous or anything.
Yeah.
He's just doing this in a bar.
Yeah, he's not, I guess, a headliner of anything big. He's just kind of going around doing these little stand-up routines. But I think it shows that it works. We're just not highlighting the right stuff. We're just going with the bottom line, the bottom of the barrel kind of stuff, just to appease the populace people and the more white audiences. And you don't have to do that. There's black audiences out there too. There's black people that would love to see comedies by black people that talk about racial issues
represented.
And that would pop off and be extremely popular as well if you would allow it, and if you would showcase it, and if you would market it to black people. Like, there's a whole market out there. If you want to be so capitalistic about this crap, you could do that and still not lose the dignity of being completely racist about the stuff you're putting out.
Maybe.
I mean, with everything that comes with the advent of capitalism, you're gonna have problems everywhere, but there's still a black market out there that people aren't utilizing. What?
It's just you said black market. That sounds different.
Oh,
than
did
what
I
you're
say
actually...
black? I mean, there's a big market out there for the black community that you could.
I know that's what you meant,
yeah.
but black market means something when you put those two
Yeah.
words in that order.
um, that yeah, and this movie is just goes in places that are completely unconventional because it doesn't want to have that happy ending and be like, okay, this could be okay. We could find a way to fix this.
No,
There is no way of fixing
in
this.
fact, and I want to talk about one detail from the climax. This is probably the most spoiler that we've talked about so far. Is the character of Man Ray gets abducted at the end, basically.
Yeah.
And he basically rebels against the show. He refuses to do it. He refuses to put on the makeup, the blackface, and he runs off. And then he gets abducted by people who hate the show and who are, angry about it. And then they force him to tap dance, and like they're shooting at his feet to he's tap dancing to dodge bullets. I think that is a good image, a good microcosm of a lot of the stuff this movie's getting at. It's like, you perform, you entertain people, or you face, like that's the only way to get along, is to make yourself a spectacle or you die. Yeah. And that's the reality sometimes, I think. Like it's that's what Spike Lee's trying to get at. It's like the way that black people are accepted in an industry like that is often like, it says in the final line of the film, like, just keep them laughing. Yeah. If you keep them laughing, it's almost like a survival tactic. Yeah. And that's what's pretty, I don't know, that's like a big gut punch in the movie, like how real it gets at the end, because it's, like we said, there is dark comedy in the film, but it kind of stops being funny by the end. You're just like, oh, fuck.
What I love about Spike Lee is, like, he can't help but be funny, even in some very serious situations. For instance, when the cops show up and shoot all the gang members.
Oh, that's true. Yeah,
they shoot everybody except the white guy. And
because he's like 1/8 or something,
and
black,
he's very white passing. Why did you guys shoot me? Shoot me, I'm black too.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
It's actually really funny. It's fucked up, but it's really funny because, of course, the cops would shoot all the black guys and not the white dude.
The funny part is that he's like, wait, no, what?
Yeah, it's like, shoot me too. What do you guys? And I don't know. It's that's something Spike Lee is like really good at doing, is like just making even the most controversial shit just entertaining, just even so. And that could be a good thing, that could be a bad thing, that could be a lot of the reasons why people don't like Spike Lee.
Yeah.
But I think that's also a lot of the reasons why Spike Lee is so popular. It's because you could put out like very downer types of films about racial prejudices and like the civil unrest of our society, and it could be very down and very, like, I guess, educational and very like talking down to people, like, this is what needs to happen. And I mean, we get a lot of films like that. Mm-hmm. Not saying they're all bad or they're all good, but we still get movies like that. For instance, 12 Years a Slave, very, very sobering movie to look at, and the way, black people were treated when they were slaves. Very, very great movie, and we need movies like that too. But Spike Lee, I don't think he's able to do movies like that. He has too much of an energy about him, and
I think his passion just takes a different form than someone like Steve McQueen.
Yeah, and I think
Steve McQueen, incredible filmmaker. Literally can't make a bad movie to save his life. It's amazing.
But I think people hold Spike Lee down for doing that, for making even these very, very serious situations a little bit more almost digestible in a way. And I think that's kind of the curse and the
double-edged sword.
Yeah, it's
that. I mean, that's what this movie is like. There is, I think, a personal aspect to it where he's like, I'm making the humor that he can't help but inject into
Yeah.
even this film is kind of telling of the point of the movie, where it's like, y'all are laughing, but I'm serious.
Yeah.
But I can't help but find the twisted humor in this situation myself.
Yeah, and also
it's almost like
it's also a lot easier for people to like digest, like you said, because if this were taken completely serious without the biting satire of it all, it would be so much of a downer. It would be so.
I mean, it would be like watching a horror movie.
Yeah, and
in some parts it is.
In a way, it's almost unredeemable to even like go back and rewatch in a way, because it's like, oh, I don't want to go through that. But I don't know. I think there's a good thing and a bad thing about the fact that this movie's as entertaining as it is, because it's saying it works, but also we need to do something about it. We need to change it up.
Yeah, like this movie shouldn't work.
Yeah,
it's like it's
like the minstrel show shouldn't work, but it does.
Yeah,
and the movie itself kind of takes on that form as well. It's like this movie shouldn't work.
It's almost like
but it works because it's saying something.
It all contributes to it too. The way that it's shot, edited, the shot on video aspect, like just everything that's almost it's just arrhythmic about this movie and different. It would be like it really should be like a complete fucking mess. You're just like what am I watching? And yet you're so captivated by the movie, and the movie knows that that's what's going to happen. I think Spike Lee kind of made it that way on purpose.
I love the stylistic choices he makes with this movie, because when he shoots it on this kind of video digital camera for most of the movie, it's like the movie becomes that reality TV show aspect, and then you don't see it in film until they shoot the live show, the minstrel part of the movie, because that is the most cinematic part. That's like, this is what people see. This is the landscape of what people see.
Yeah, like it's showing this is the part that's comfortable for people in a weird way. The rest is like you're getting you're kind of peeking in. And it also, because it takes place in this heightened kind of satirical reality, the shot on video aspect can give it a grittiness, a realness to like feeling like these things, they do exist in a form.
Yeah.
This is more heightened to kind of illuminate it for, as a movie, but they, these things do exist in a certain form in real life.
Yeah. And I think at first, when I first saw it, it was very off-putting, but it makes sense just stylistically how he made this movie come about. And
I think Spike Lee is fantastic at that, and I think that it's something that even to people that do understand probably what he's going for with Highest to Lowest, for example, like I do think that is something that is not given enough credit. The way that he lets tone and structure like inform the message of the movie.
I feel like nowadays, even though he's still Spike Lee, he's still the guy. I think people aren't looking into his films like they used to. Like when he did like Do the Right Thing or Malcolm X, people were actually taking him seriously and like taking those subject matters seriously. And over the years, I think people have kind of lost that.
Well, there's too much irony in the world. People are not taking things sincerely and being curious about them. I think like it also comes with the legacy of those films. Like, you can grow up as a film lover before you even see those movies, but hear about them and you're told why they're good.
Yeah.
Like, why they're good. So when you watch them, you're like, oh yeah, 5 stars. It's the greatest movie ever. And I knew that already. It's almost like you didn't even have to watch the movie at a certain point, because you're not encouraged, because of the legacy of those movies. Maybe you're not as encouraged to find your own meaning in them, or kind of try and form your own opinion on it.
Yeah,
Aside from the consensus that's grown over time, whereas with Highest to Lowest, that's a new one, and I think people are like, oh man, Spike Lee's washed, what the fuck? And it's like, I'm not saying that movie is as good as those other two movies, but it is. I guess people are less keen on really digging into the film, doing the work that was already done for them with those other movies.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that movie has as much depth or
Yeah.
things to get out of it, but I do think that it has more than people are saying.
I mean, the same thing with this movie. Like when you see, like when it came out, it was very polarizing, and people didn't know what to make of it because they were so used to his other films that were, I guess, a bit more serious in what it was saying. And though this movie is serious in what it's saying, it does have that a bit more of a comedy aspect to it. And they're not taking it as seriously as his other stuff, even though this movie, and there's an essay in this Criterion called New Millennium Same Bullshit, where he's highlighting the fact that when this movie came out, it was 2000. We're in a new era. We're in a new millennium, and yet we're still doing the same bullshit. We're still doing the same racist stuff we've always been doing since the advent of television and films.
Yeah, it's almost like you might as well be doing a show like this because it's new stuff, but you're doing the exact same thing, just in a different font.
Yeah,
you know?
Exactly. And he's calling that out, and people aren't seeing it. They don't get it because it's too in their face. It's bashing them over the head with the subject matter, except it's not, because they're not taking that in. They're not actually understanding what the movie's trying to say. They just think that the movie's trying to tell them something. The world is racist, and it's like, yeah, it's saying that, but what are we actually saying about the world being racist?
It's showing you things that you see every day and that you are able to ignore in a way that you can't ignore. And so a lot of people are going to say, oh, well, it's too ham-fisted, I don't like it.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, because it wants you to actually think about the shit that's going on in real life instead of just letting it glaze over you and just like pass it by. Like, that's the point. And, that makes sense. People don't talk about this movie a lot when it comes to Spike Lee. It's on Criterion, which is great.
Yeah.
But it is, I think, from what I've seen, it's one of his more overlooked films. I feel like this, of the ones I've seen, like, this is the one I hear talked about the least. I mean, people talk about fucking Old Boy more than this, I feel like. I think that's just because that movie's not very good.
Yeah.
But, it's not one that you can take lightly.
Yeah, it is a hard recommended movie to give to people.
We recommend this movie, and you should watch it, and I think everyone should see it. And I mean, there's shit about this movie that I can't really like determine the quality of it, but myself. But I think that it's a movie everyone should see and check out.
Yeah, I think if you kind of understand what you're getting this harsh satire about the racial kind of crutch within the television industry,
or just entertainment
in general, and you know that it's both taking a really rough take on that as well as being a dark comedy, then you should be fine going into this movie. You just need to understand that the movie is being a satire. But if you kind of just go in, I don't know, thinking that it's trying to be more than that, or something like more serious, I guess. And I guess you could like not take it seriously, but I think the point is really just to see that, there's a hypocrisy to it all. It's like there's the entertainment versus the subject matter. Where's the balance? It's kind of hard to have a balance within a movie like this, but I think Spike Lee actually does it perfectly. Most people just don't understand that aspect of it. They don't understand the way that he wants to tell this type of story, and it's hard to go about that. But I think the way he does it is actually really great. I don't know. It's really hard to articulate, but but I
You
think
have to just watch the movie.
yeah, you just have to watch the movie, and I guess have your own opinions on it. But I think people are not being serious with how they're thinking about this movie.
Yeah, wonderful film. Really.
Yeah.
I absolutely love it. So I think that about covers it.
Yeah. Yeah, we just wanted to kind of highlight it as a blind buy that we did, and it turns out to be a great blind buy from Criterion Closet.
Eventually, we'll get to all of our blind buys, but I felt this was timely for his new movie coming out and everything, and he's going to have a new Criterion movie, so perfect time to talk about this one, and knock this one out on our list.
Yeah.
Of blind buys. So, I guess our questions for you today are: what's the most overlooked film from your favorite director? Because we already did favorite Spike Lee movie on highest to lowest, but you could tell us that too. For me, I would say, I don't know about. I think there's a difference between underrated and overlooked, where it's like people really like it, but not a lot of people have seen it. I would say for me that would probably be like. That's hard because motherfuckers hate all of them. They're like all super popular. I guess
I thought you would have said Lady in the Water.
Well, that was my first instinct was Lady in the Water, but it's like that's more underrated. That I found out last night that has a 25% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah,
and I find that insane.
Yeah, people
I find
did not
that
like that
insane.
when that movie came out.
Oh, it was so lovely seeing that in 35mm packed audience of people that actually do like it.
Yeah.
Because oh man, the laughs and the crying that were happening. That's when I realized it was a masterpiece.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. I was watching that to go to sleep last night. It's so good. Anyway, yeah, that's my answer, sure.
Okay. Well, you guys all know Spielberg's my favorite director, and if we're talking about overlooked films, I think I would say 1941. People do not give that movie the time of day, and I think it's great. I think it's so great. It's obviously one of his more flawed films, but I think that movie's also a biting satire of American jingoism during the World War II that just goes over people's heads, I think, a lot. And I think it's a very similar to Bamboozled, but in more of a direct attack towards Americans' perspective of the war before they even got into the war. And I think it's fantastic, and
I need to see it.
Like nobody talks about it because it's like, oh, it's the movie that didn't do well at the box. It did do well at the box office. It just didn't do as well as Jaws or Close Encounters.
You can't beat that though. That's
yeah,
pretty high bar.
Yeah, and it's very much a comedy, like a strong comedy that Spielberg hasn't really done before. That I think probably caught people off guard, and they weren't really expecting that, and expect it more often, guys, because Spielberg could do anything, and 1941 is a great movie.
So is Lady in the Water. And actually, that was our next question, was what's your favorite satirical movie? And that's a satirical movie that you could point out and highlight. And I guess for me, I could do the same shit that you're doing, and I could just say The Happening, because I think that is biggest reach of all time you would have to make to be like, movie's not supposed to be funny. I think that's an insane take.
The movie is funny whether you like it or not.
Well,
it's a
it's
funny
the argument
movie.
of whether it's supposed to be funny. I mean, I was watching the special features on my Blu-ray recently, and literally M. Night was like, yeah, I'm setting out to make the best B movie you've ever seen. And I'm like, you people. It's like, what? I beg you, you don't have to like the movie, but give it one watch where you are actively okay with laughing.
Yeah, watch it like it's like a comedic, like, Twilight Zone movie.
It's supposed to, yeah. It's like you could say it's a satire on disaster movies, but I think it's really a satire on how humans respond to real life disaster, like 9/11. Where, in the movie, like, there's this post 9/11 kind of paranoia going. It's like, people are literally killing themselves, and everyone's like, what kind of terrorists are these? Like, or it's the army, we're safe. That's
Yeah.
a crazy line. Or when the math teacher's like, yeah, I can just. He literally says this. He's like, percentages and statistics just make people feel better. They don't even have to be real. Like, they don't even have to be actual. Or the fact that the plants are doing it, but they make you kill yourself. It's this commentary on how we're destroying the environment. We're hurting our own planet, and
Yeah.
we're hurting ourselves by doing that. So, very interesting movie. I like it. And I just to get off the Shyamalan thing, I'll say another one that recently that I liked, that I consider satirical, is Friendship.
Oh, that's so good.
I think Friendship is a satire on consumerism.
Yeah.
Like this
Just being addicted to everything.
Well, yeah, and the way that that's kind of come in and become how we view relationships as well is something, a product to become addicted to, like an app or our phones. And you just see this character that just can't escape that mindset of like buying things to be like someone else, to impress someone else, to be accepted. Or there's just such a veil of like just consumerism and capitalism over that movie. Like we're trying to, like, we wish we could just order Friends off Amazon or whatever, or like a Subway sandwich. And you see that portrayed a lot in media, the suburban dads and suburban family men that battle over their masculinity by buying things. Like, oh, well, I got my kitchen redone. Oh, well, I got this new car. Oh, well, we're putting a pool in our backyard. Like all of this stuff, that just material shit that people use to one up their so-called friends, because their friends are really just they're just things. They are a thing that makes them look cool. And that's but lovely movie, one of the best of the year.
It's so funny, so good. And I guess if I'm gonna say something a bit different, I would also say Eddington. That just came out.
Yeah, exactly.
The best satire, I think, so far of this year.
Maybe of this decade.
Maybe. I mean, one battle after another, we're gonna have to see.
You think that's gonna be a satire?
I think it is. Yeah, I think people have said that.
Okay, I haven't seen a lot of reactions.
But I mean, I haven't seen it yet, so we'll see. But Eddington, so good. It's one of the best movies about the year of 2020 and how the socio-political aspect, like atmosphere of the time, and how stupid everybody was about it.
I mean, it's still relevant. Everything that I mean, there was a recent person that passed away that in an act of gun violence that maybe we shouldn't name, but because I don't want to give it that much attention.
But it's too deep, guys.
But it's like you look at that and you think about Eddington and what happens in that movie. And it's like we're living in Eddington still.
Yeah, and yet people still just want to say, "Oh, don't think about these movies. You're thinking too hard about it. They're not actually."
Or Eddington's it's too ham-fisted.
Yeah.
Yeah,
sure,
bro.
Sure. Yeah.
That's because it's real life. That's because you're recognizing a lot of shit in there.
Well, just bamboozled.
Bamboozled. Okay. Anything else you want to say about it?
No, I think we talked enough about it. We just watched the movie, guys.
Watch every movie we mentioned.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I've been Peyton.
And I've been Adryon.
And we will see you next time on the Apple Box.